started. So, there we go. Hey, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good today. We got the date down correctly. It's August 6th. We were trying to figure that out this morning. We finally figured it out. So, first Saturday in August. See, we got a few of you there, but just wanted to say hello to everybody and remind you, if you're seeing this not live, we turn these into the Desert Farmer Podcast. We have those up on our website on the podcast tab. It's a condensed version of what you're seeing here on YouTube today. So if you'd like to check that out, you can, or hang out here. So, hey everybody, I see some regulars out there. That's cool. Rob, Taylor, how's it going? Daryl, how you doing, buddy? Hope everything's, well, you have to let me know how the weather is down there for you guys. Kylan, how's it going? So, Daryl's rain almost every day. Yep.
Yeah.
Not surprised. I know I've seen a lot of flooding back there. We've actually had some flooding here. Not here on the farm, unfortunately, or fortunately, but definitely in town.
Yeah.
So I know everybody's getting a lot of rain. Hey, guys. Oh, very good. Rob, that's good to hear. Glad you're not seeing any damage. I know we've had some decent winds, although not too wild on the winds.
No.
Hasn't been too bad, but we did finally get some rain this week. Actually, we got some rain last week as well. Mm-hmm. So it's nice because it's kept the temperatures down. So today's the first day we had above 100 degrees for probably the last, 10 or 12 days? It's been a while.
Yeah.
Since we've
been nice.
Yeah, it's been really nice. So, but I know a lot of guys in the city were getting floods all up and down the east side of town. Even Metro Center in Central Phoenix.
Yeah, someone just said that they're
well.
by Metro Center. I think it might have been Rob, Phoenix, near Metro Center.
Yeah, and I know that there was actually 2 or 3 different people that reached out to us, I think, on Facebook this week with the monsoons. But it's been dry the last couple days, and dry today. Not dry enough to completely eliminate the mosquitoes.
Oh, yeah, they drive me crazy. I have bites all up and down my arms.
Yep. So they got you good, but wasn't too bad this morning when we were outside.
No.
But in the end, when it comes to rain, we'll take any rain that we can get at this point.
I agree.
So, and the farm looks much better for it. So I know you guys are going to probably have some questions here, and we'll say howdy as we go. But a couple things that we wanted to share with you guys, besides the monsoons and the beautiful weather that it's given us, and the farm really coming back to life. It was getting kind of stressed out there, but
yeah, with that intense heat and
hot, dry, and windy. To finally get that moisture, the plants are really coming back. We've actually been doing some harvesting of some things we've never harvested before here over the last week, right?
Yeah.
So I know the first one was our Cabernet Grapes. And we harvested our first 5-gallon bucket of those. I guess it was about a week ago, right?
Yeah.
That we got that first harvest. And we just finished up the Syrah wine grapes. In fact, those are turning into wine tomorrow.
Yeah, we started that today.
And we actually wanted to show you guys. So we have Syrah, Cabernet, and Zinfandel grapes, right?
As far as wine grapes.
As far as wine grapes. And first time we've grown wine grapes here and had those. So I'll make sure you guys can see that okay. So get that a little closer. Kind of hard to tell, but you can see that is a Zinfandel grape. So a little bit on the smaller side as far as the clusters are concerned. But you can see beautiful dark grapes right there. And I know for me, when I think of Zinfandel, for whatever reason, I think of a light, almost rosé.
Yeah.
But the reality is Zinfandel's a red wine.
Yeah.
So, but you can see beautiful cluster of grapes right there. And yes, grapes, and in particular wine grapes, will grow really well. Yeah. In fact, how many of these, do you know how many bags of these? Because you destem them each day.
I do. I will harvest them and I will destem them and then freeze them in gallon-sized bags. And I think we have like 14 or 15 gallon-sized bags so far.
Okay, and so that's probably about 40 to 45 pounds
Oh my goodness.
of grapes. And if we do the math, that should equate to about 2 to 3 gallons of wine so far, just from the Zinfandels. And these are what, a year and a half in the ground?
Yeah.
They were bare root. a year and a half ago. So yeah, and actually they taste pretty good. You want to try one?
So if anybody wants wine grapes, Zinfandel do really good here.
Yeah, Zinfandel's a great option. So
They do have seeds, though.
yeah, they're seeded. So they're good.
Now you're going to make me spit seeds out on camera.
Go ahead. You can put them in. There you go. Oh, see how much I love you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously they're not seedless because they're wine grapes, and the skin's a little thicker than a table grape,
Yeah.
right? So, but very, very sweet, which is what gives you a nice alcohol content in the wine. So the wine grapes, yep, that's our biggest one. We got questions we can answer before we get to our next show and tell.
All right, so let me just go down the thing here. We have Juan here. Hello.
How's it going, Juan?
Rob, he's an insurance agent, so he always got the damage on mind. Let's see, Raina's here. We have Kevin.
Hey, Raina.
Slam Boy.
Slam Boy, what's up, dude?
Let's see, the little garden.
All right.
Let's have some surprise neighbors, 395 Expeditions.
Howdy and surprise.
We have Rebecca. Dwayne, you sound really far away.
Do I? Maybe we'll bring this a little closer. Does it sound better if I'm right here? Maybe that was too far away. Oh, technical difficulties.
All right, we have Barry from Chandler. You guys, you ever host in-person classes at your farm?
Yes, we do. So in fact, if you go to our website and go to the workshops page, you'll see that's where we post those. So the first one or the next one we have coming up is our chicken processing workshop. So we've got that, should be sometime in endish of October, assuming that everything arrives here okay. I'm going to try to get this a little closer to us.
Okay. And then Slam Boy had flooding in Death Valley. We have Joan, upstate New York. Still no rain. And Apache Junction, Taylor really got hit with the flash floods.
In Apache Junction? Well, I know the east side.
And Sheila's right next door, and they didn't get a drop.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we've been saying,
It's usually
too.
us. It usually goes around us.
We've literally watched them go around us.
Yeah.
With the view that we have, we can pretty much see, well, we see all south, so west, south, and east up against the mountains. We'll literally watch the clouds go completely around us.
Yeah, thinking it's coming right towards us, and no.
Yep, and it never does. Let me know if this sounds better, you guys.
All right, so we have hi guys from Richmond, Virginia. It's been
Oh, wow.
hot, and we have some rain.
Very good. Virginia, that's a, boy, I tell you what, that's night and day compared to here.
We have Rebecca from Lake Havasu City.
Hey, how's it going in Havasu?
And then the West Valley has got plenty of rain this week. It's been quite nice in Vegas.
That's good to hear.
Looks like a healthy bunch of grapes.
Yeah, those, I'll tell you what, I've been impressed with the Zinfandels.
Oh my goodness,
They've
I
done
am
really
too.
good.
They've done fantastic.
Yeah.
So we have Tasha, just found you guys in July and super excited to be able to catch you live.
Oh, sweet.
Learning so much from the channel.
Awesome. Glad to hear it,
Very
Tasha.
cool. Welcome.
Glad you're able to make it today. That's cool.
And then Raina, how is your split mulberry holding up?
So actually, it's fine. I was looking at that last week. Took a tractor ride back there, and it's doing just fine. So no issues at all. Growing, hanging in there for the summer, but actually it's push everything like everything else, pushing out some new growth.
Yeah.
Like some early fall flush. It's kind of cool to see.
Oh my goodness, grapes are going crazy right now.
The grapes are going nuts.
All right, so it sounds like this sounds better.
Okay, very good.
We have Jose from El Paso.
Hey, how's it going, Jose?
Rob is retired insurance agent. 25 years was enough, he said.
Oh my goodness, yeah, I cannot imagine.
And then Tasha, are you going to do farm tours anytime soon?
Yes. So we usually, we schedule farm tours. So we announce all those through our customer email list. So I know you said you're new, but if you go to our website, you can join our email list there. If you're here in town, that's how we announce everything. So things that we have for sale, farm tours, events, we do them there. And we don't really do that so much on YouTube because we try to leave YouTube more than anything. It's for kind of encouraging folks to do what we do and
educational, you know.
Yep, and the same goes for you guys. You guys give us a lot of advice too. So we really kind of stick to that on YouTube. And we're always kind of nervous to do an invite to everybody on YouTube because it might be too many people for us to handle because we have to kind of limit the size of the group. So it helps if we just get it out to a set number of people.
So we do those usually one in the spring, one in the fall. So we will have one coming up this fall. join that email list and you'll know exactly when that is.
Yeah, and we try to do it so that the weather's nice, everything's still alive, and meaning not dormant. And we have all of our animals. So we'll be having pigs here by the end of this month, beginning of September. And we have our broiler chickens twice a year. So we try to get everybody there then.
All right, so then we have berry stoked. Sorry, should have researched first. That's okay. Okay, sounds better. Question, how long does it take to produce fruit with grapevines?
So the vines that we have here were producing fruit last year. So the first season in the ground, they produced late. So it was in the fall. So we actually got some Zinfandel grapes in the fall. Those were planted during that winter of last year. So they can happen the same year. And we've seen that. Generally speaking, it's now. So second year is typically when you're going to see some fruit set. We've been very surprised to see the amount of fruit, which is a little uncommon. So they're happy, obviously. But the time frame they generally say is you really want to have about 4 years before you really want to kind of see your main harvest, or your kind of what your typical harvest is going to be, is typically at about year 4. So we're about halfway there.
All right, we have Dwayne. I don't know how you can work a full-time regular job and still maintain the farm.
So the good news is this one does a lot of farm maintenance.
Yeah.
So Lori does a lot of the farm maintenance during the week. She's here full-time, so that makes a big difference. There's times when it's a little bit tough. So, I mean, especially once we get into the fall through spring time frame, but we've even found that it's been busy all summer. So busier than we anticipated. So, but a lot of the larger projects, generally speaking, are behind us. The ones that we knew we had to get done for the farm business to get up and running, a lot of that's in place. So it's really not quite as bad. But yeah, it's a lot.
It is. Sorry, Tasha's in Peoria. They had microbursts 2 weeks ago and lost a bunch of metal panels from the horse stalls.
That's not good.
Otherwise, enjoying the rain.
When we know what the microburst is like, we had that at the old farm, and tore our gate off its hinges and did some damage there as well. Had some neighbors that lost some brick walls that came down. So yeah, that's a bummer.
We gained a trampoline.
We did gain a trampoline.
All right, so we have Charlie, Orchard Garden. This is Charlie. Nice to hear from you guys.
Very good. How's it going, Charlie?
And then Rob, can't wait for my mulberries to come back. We'll do a rum-based.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds fantastic. A rum-based cordial. That sounds great. I know, and we didn't do rum when we did. Well, we did blackberries and we used vodka, but rum with mulberries, that sounds pretty good. Not gonna lie.
All right, so let's see where we're at here. Sorry.
We're just trying to keep up with you guys here.
All right, we have Alan just came from studying for my master's degree.
Oh my.
Reading Dead Sea Scrolls and then learning about plants. It's a great world we live in.
I agree. Well, I'll tell you what, man, that is amazing, Alan. So you go, dude.
All right, planted some mulberry cuttings, and one currently has an opening bud. Is the only one of all my cuttings.
Yeah, so, and that, hang in there. Usually for us, what we can see, at least this time of year, we're seeing them on the cuttings we just took last week or week before, is you see a little bit of bud swell, and that pretty much stops. And then the cutting is basically putting roots down. So I wouldn't get too concerned yet. Usually you'll see the drying though. So like I can already see it at the tips of each of the cuttings. That drying will come down a few inches. If it keeps going down the plant, that's usually a bad sign. So that's kind of what we look for when it comes to the cuttings. And you could lose, especially if the cutting is smaller, you could lose up to half of that before you start seeing bud swell. And then typically you'll see it at the bottom of the cuttings first is where you'll see the swell. That's when you know you've probably got some roots started, and then they'll of course leaf out here in the next several weeks. So I'd still keep the fingers crossed on that one.
All right, so a couple of questions here on do you grow avocado?
No. So avocados in Arizona are extremely difficult. So the Arizona Aravaipa, I know that has been grown with some success in the city. And I think the mother plant was outside the city. I don't remember where it was, outside of Globe or something. But we do consultations, and we've had multiple consultations where folks have tried to grow avocados and have been unsuccessful. We have a lot of folks that reach out, ask us the same question, and we have other folks that'll comment back and just say that they're very difficult. So we don't, mainly because of the difficulty in the summer and the difficulty in the winter, and we're just too busy doing other things to really spend that much time to dedicate it to one tree. And we don't eat avocados, not because I don't want to, but I'm allergic to them. So we don't do avocados because of that.
All right, so we have midsummer tans going on.
Yeah, that's an automatic. It doesn't matter whether we wear hats or not. So that happens no matter what. Lots of sunshine.
Yeah. All right, so Tasha joined the email list last week. Rob, do you ever ask for volunteer workers doing yard property work?
We haven't yet. I think we may do that in the future, especially if we have some larger projects that it helps to have some extra hands that don't necessarily need to be, I don't want this to sound wrong, but don't necessarily need to be skilled, meaning it's a lot of manual labor, which is what we do a lot of here anyway, like shovel work and moving a wheelbarrow and that kind of thing. As we move on to the back half of the property starting this winter and we start doing some of kind of our permaculture projects back there, I think we may do that. And that's definitely one that we would use our customer email list for. So,
yeah.
And kind of pull those folks.
Try to get some volunteers.
See if we can rope some volunteers into, at least while it's nice, out. I don't want to do that now.
All right. Are you guys planting pumpkins this year? I just planted them on August 1st. Probably too late.
You want to answer that question, sweetheart?
So I actually just planted pumpkin seeds this past Tuesday. And I think all of them are actually sprouting.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yep, I think so too. So yeah, it's
definitely not late. It's like end of July, first part of August.
Right. So July and August, would they be ripe for, say, Halloween? Probably not. You're pushing it. Kind of depends on the variety. I think the ones we have in the ground are 90 to 100 days. So
small ones, yeah.
Yeah. I don't. They're really more for pies and things like that. So, but no, it's definitely not too late. It's planting season right now for your winter squash for us here in Arizona. We planted 5 varieties? We just talked about it in the vlog that'll post next week.
Yeah.
So we got 5 varieties of winter squash that you put in. So pumpkins, butternut squash, spaghetti squash, 2 types of butternut squash.
Well, it's like a honey nut squash or something, a butternut squash, spaghetti squash, acorn squash.
Yeah.
And pumpkin.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely not, you're not too late on that.
All right. So we have Sam from Santan Valley.
How's it going, Sam?
Chris, did you get enough rain to get those moringa trees to trap water?
So yes, and they're doing fantastic. So we only have the transplanted tree that has the swale dug into it. Mm-hmm. But that one, I'm confident that we did because we had some standing water. There, yeah. And Lori got some video footage again this week of the swales in front of the grapevines as well. So yes, I'm confident that we may not have filled it. I don't think we got that much rain. We only got about half an inch, but water does kind of run back there. So I'm pretty confident it did. Yeah. I checked it this morning to see if we needed to water it. It's saturated with water still, so it's definitely working.
All right. Dwayne, what's your full-time job?
So my full-time job, I am the purchasing manager for Unicoa, Glendale Industrial Supply. So that's why you'll see me wearing shirts with like DeWalt and Milwaukee and all those different tool manufacturers. We do those as kind of co-op with those companies for the company I work for. So I manage a small group of purchasers for that company. So it's a family-owned company. My son and I both work there, so it's a great place to work and it pays well. So another reason why I'm still there.
All right, Jacob, you guys are doing a fantastic job. Love watching and finding out what you're doing. Good luck to you both. Blessing from the UK.
Oh, wow. In the UK. What time is it there? Because in my mind, I always think you guys are like 8 hours ahead or 7 hours ahead. So it's got to be nighttime there. But thanks for joining us.
All right, Kevin, my young apricot has some nice foundation branches, but they are long whips, 5 to 6 feet plus. They have some side branches at 3 to 4, so can I prune those whips now? They are too flimsy for fruit next year.
It's hard to say, Kevin. I think, you're dry there just like we are in Vegas. And so, if you want to prune now, it's not going to hurt. Obviously, young trees, I'm always hesitant to do any pruning that first year, only because it's the leaf matter that drives the root growth. And so I'm always hesitant that first year. But, as they start to mature, if you need to do some shaping, some minor pruning in the summertime, as dry as we are, you're probably fine. I don't see where it would be a problem. I just wouldn't do a tremendous amount. We've got fall flush coming up here. Same for you in another few weeks. So you should see some nice growth come out of those cuts if you do decide to make them.
And he had also asked a couple down here, are you doing any pruning this time of year?
So the only pruning we do now is damaged branches. We had some gummosis on the abriums and the Katy apricot. So we did prune one branch off of, actually it was the dappled dandy. We pruned a branch off of there because it was damaged from the gummosis. But really that's about it. We took some cuttings off the mulberry, the Shangri-Las.
We did the citrus a couple weeks ago.
Citrus was a few weeks back, yeah. So we usually do citrus mid to early summer. And we didn't get a good shot of it today, I don't think, but the citrus trees look fantastic. And, the idea with our pruning then is to make sure that we can see any sucker growth on the base. So we give us about 2 feet off the ground. We clear that out so we can see whether or not we have sucker growth, so we can eliminate that right away, and we thin at the same time. So other than that, though, not really. We don't really do any summer pruning anymore.
All right. When will you plant tomatoes?
So we actually will start seeds here. I think we have one tomato variety we're going to be growing this fall, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll be starting those seeds here in the next week or so, and we'll plant those. We'll probably put those in at the end of September. So give about 30 to 45 days in the house and then transplant out. I think we'll be in good shape. So as far as transplanting, that's once we get past the real hot stuff. So that's usually by the end of September-ish, just to make sure you don't have anything frying. So.
All right. And then we have Darlene.
Hey, how's it going, Darlene? Yeah, I agree. So, compared to the city, we haven't gotten much. I'm sure you're probably the same. You're right down the street. So we could definitely use more. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, Johnny, best thing about the live stream is people ask a lot of the questions I've been wanting to.
That does help, doesn't it?
When are your pomegranates and guava ready to harvest?
Well, what do you know? So I'll answer the first one. So pomegranates are ready to harvest usually in about December, give or take. 2 crops. You have you have a spring flowering and fruit set, and those fruit are larger and hang on the tree all summer. And then you usually, at least in our experience, you have some flowering in the fall and a small fruit set that also ripens at the same time, somewhere in the December timeframe. So I usually remember that because I think of Christmas ornaments on those trees, and that's about when you know they're ripe. They also start to split. So we just lost, is camera still on? Because we just lost our little, make sure we can see okay. All right. So, but we always look for the splitting. You'll see that starting to happen, again, usually in December. I think we're okay. It's just our little preview thing. Sorry, guys, technical difficulties. Then the second part of that question.
Guavas, but let's not go into that because we need to get caught up here.
We're going to come back to you on the guavas.
All right, so Michelle, she said just an update after talking to you and watching the chicken pool video. The 3 remaining chickens are doing great. Cover the cage with 90% shade cloth to help.
Very good.
Thank you so much for your
help. Glad to hear that, Michelle. And that's literally all it takes.
All right, and then we have, is it MRSA? Are there any advantages to watering fruit trees once a day versus a little each day?
Yes, so really a little each day can be a challenge. And the main reason why is the fruit trees, especially here, you need deep and frequent watering. And the reason being is you don't want to keep their feet wet because they don't like that. But you also need the water to penetrate as far down into the ground as possible to soften up that ground that allows root growth to go into there. So infrequent deep watering is really the best way to have solid root growth and tree health really anywhere, but especially for us here in a desert environment. So every day, you're not going to be able to put as much, you can't put 50 or 60 gallons a day on there. And it takes that much water in order to really penetrate into the ground far enough. Either that or drip irrigation for a very, very long time. Again, a lot of gallons. And so it's just tough. And they don't want their feet wet all the time. So what'll happen, you'll get yellowing of the leaves and you could lose a tree. All of our rootstocks here are designed for drought resistance, meaning those rootstocks are designed to have some drier dirt around them and not sitting in water.
What varieties of apples would give you fruit throughout the year?
Throughout the year, there aren't any. So apples, there's a specific season for apples. Really, there's two. You have a summer ripening apple. For us here, that's our Golden Dorset, Anna, Tropic Sweet, Einsheimer. Those varieties usually are ripe in June-ish, and then they're done. And then you have your fall fruiting or fall ripening varieties like your typical Fuji, Honeycrisp, Gala. We've got a Jersey Mac and a Wainucci. Those are all fall. Those are going to ripen usually in September or so in about a month, maybe into October, even November. So, but then they all go dormant in the wintertime because they need to. That's how they set their fruit. So.
All right, and then what's the brand of your irrigation controller or any brand you recommend?
So the one that we use is the Hunter Pro HC. So that's H is in Harry, C is in Charlie. Ours is the 24 station. It comes in a, I think 6, 12, or 24 station. So you can get them in various sizes. And it's fantastic. We've had it in for 2 years now, almost 2.5 years. Actually going on 3. And it has served us really well. It's Wi-Fi enabled. We can adjust the water anywhere on the farm or off the farm if necessary. And it's fantastic. So,
are you involved with, I'm not sure what
Maynard's? No, I'm not. I'm not familiar with that, Jason. So a Vintners Guild, that's pretty cool. So no, we're not. We love winemaking, but not involved in any guilds. Sounds pretty cool.
All right, and Rebecca, have you ever tried rooting mesquite cuttings? I think I'm going to give a go. Why not?
I've never tried it. So we tried growing them from seeds with varying success. They kind of tend to sprout up everywhere, especially right now. Mm-hmm. But I have not. Be interesting to see how it does.
All right, Michelle, I bought a tiger fig. It's about 4 feet tall in a 5-gallon fabric pot. Mm-hmm. How long should I wait to plant in the ground? Right.
So generally speaking, we don't plant trees. We've got a couple of exceptions like your desert trees, but we don't plant trees in the summertime. We have 2 figs that we're prepping ground for now, actually in the duck enclosure. Mm-hmm. So those are in plastic pots. Those will be going in probably the beginning of October. So once we get into October, we're past the super hot, dry days. We still have hot days. But, we don't get the 115 plus days, and you have a much longer time of darkness. So, at that point, you're dealing with shorter days, longer nights, and it's safe to go ahead and plant them. So I would say end of September, beginning of October, and then get that bad boy in the ground.
Bad boy.
Bad boy. Bad girl?
All right, Rob. Work is hands-on training, what I enjoy.
I agree.
Asking about the volunteers.
Yeah.
And Kevin, we have 10 acres and
Aguila.
I'm intrigued by your grapevines.
Yeah.
Are you planning to try making wine?
Yes. In fact, we've been making wine now for 4 years.
4 years.
2018. We made our first wine, and we've made wine out of almost every type of fruit.
Yeah.
So
that we've grown.
Yeah, so we just did watermelon wine for the first time, right? Just re-racked that. Mm-hmm. We just re-racked our peach wine, our mulberry wine, and our blackberry wine for the fall. We're starting our Syrah wine today, technically. We'll pitch the yeast tomorrow. We've done Manuka, apple, fig, 3 different vintages. I think 3 years of fig. We've done 2 different mulberries.
Pomegranate.
Yeah, plum, if I didn't say it.
Yep, plum.
We're probably missing pomegranate. 2 different times we did pomegranate. So yeah, definitely fans of winemaking. Mm-hmm. And one thing we found is and the reason why we're doing so many different wines right now is we found that the primary fermentation does best during the summertime because we're about, high 70s, sometimes into the low 80s here during the week in the house. And the fermentation goes nice and hard and strong and very fast. So if you want a fully attenuated wine, now's really a good time to do it. It's just, we've had better fermentation, especially in the primary, in the middle of summer. But yes. And we have Zinfandel will be starting here in the next couple weeks in Cabernet as soon as we clear the vines.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and then Rob, he's talking to Rebecca. Okay, so can you do a harvest video while harvesting your ripe fruits?
Yes, and so we've actually done several. We have on the old farm, I think we've got just about every harvesting video out there. Peaches, apricots, plums, blueberries, citrus, figs, mulberries, probably forgetting some apples. So we've got several harvesting videos there, and we've done a few this year. Most of the trees are not producing, so but we have done a few there. But yes, we will continue to do those as they come up.
Sam, how often are you finding snakes? I found a snake for the first time in 3 years.
Yeah, so Sam, we've had more snakes this year than we've had since we first moved in. That's going on 3 years.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot more snakes this year than normal. In fact, we've seen more rattlers than normal. So we had, I think, one prior to this year, and this year we've seen what, 3?
At least, yeah.
3 or 4.
You got one, and then I got 2 in 1 week.
Yeah. So so we've had at least 3 or 4 this year. So yeah, we're seeing more.
All right. Native Seed Search had Moringa in 5-gallon pots for $30 today.
Oh, wow. I'll tell you what, if you can get them in a pot, I would say go for it if you don't have access to seeds. But I can tell you this, we're kind of doing a test run. We just potted some smaller pots. So they were, how big were those? 5-gallon? No. They were 1-gallon pots. So that we had potted up a couple times, and they're struggling a little bit. And the seeded ones are doing fantastic.
Great. And we direct seeded them right into the ground.
Yeah. So, and it's cheap. I mean, you can get seeds. We've got them in our Amazon shop. I want to say the pack we have is, I don't know, 10 or 20 bucks, like 1,000 seeds or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they're just not expensive. They're easy to find. So instead of spending it on the potted tree, I would direct seed them if you could, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just because I think I can tell they're going to do better. They have very, very long, deep taproots, which is the reason why eventually they become desert adapted for us. I think one of the problems we had when we lost our Moringa tree on the old farm is we transplanted it, and I don't think the taproot ever actually took. And I think that's the reason why it died to the ground and never came back when we hit 20 degrees. One of the reasons. So.
All right, what zone are you in? I'm in 9A. Just want to know where you find a planting chart.
Oh, yeah, sure. So, Michelle, we're technically in 9B. The planting chart that we have not got that up on the website yet. We need to. But U of A does one for Maricopa County, which is generally 9B. I'm not aware of anybody outside of that. But at 9A, we've hit 20 degrees solid a few years back. So we're skirting that 9A timeframe. So my guess is you're probably similar to us. If you want to check it out, University of Arizona, it's the Maricopa, if you Google it, it's the Maricopa planting chart. You should be able to find it. I think it's a PDF, and it's very accurate. We use it for planting. In fact, it's the reason why we were planting those squash here this week.
Yeah. So. And someone else had commented further down saying that Native Seed Search has a great planting calendar as well.
Very good. Yep.
All right. Do you ever set up your produce in a local farmer's market?
No. That's a good question. No, we don't have any plans on doing that. So Lori and I met almost 26 years ago. Well, that's our anniversary. We met like 27 years ago, but we met working, and we were working in retail. So I spent 21 years in retail after finally getting out. You spent a little less than that, quite a bit less than that. Still too long. So I think both of us, as much as we have that sales background, so it does help us with the farming business. I don't think either one of us want to do that. So we've got a lot of different enterprises here on the farm. We do plan on selling produce. Obviously, you guys know we sell meat. But we do that all through the customer email list. Here on the farm, we just tested out a farm share program that we're halfway through right now. We got 2 more rounds of that. That's going really well, where folks are coming here, or we do a drop off in town. So I think we'll stick with those. Yeah. So because we don't plan on getting big enough, I think, to go down that route.
No.
So
especially on produce.
Yeah.
How are your fig trees handling the extreme heat? I have a few fig trees and noticed some varieties do not handle the heat very well. Fruit is dry.
Yeah, so Jose, especially this time of year, that is very, very common. In fact, our trees have about half the leaves they did in June going into August. So it's pretty common. Fig trees are our canary in the coal mine when it comes to struggling trees. It's very common for them to get yellowing leaves and leaf drop in July, and then they bounce back in August, September, like now with the monsoon season. So usually your ripening will happen early July, so early enough that you'll get some harvest early July. If you water additionally, so if you add some additional water, say you're doing once a week, we went to twice a week there for a few weeks until we got rain. If you do that through the July timeframe, you'll probably find that you'll get more consistent growth. So that would be your best bet, because yes, you will get some, especially if it's super hot and dry.
All right, we have Carol.
Hey, how's it going, Carol?
She's late. The notification didn't come up.
Well, we're still here.
Yep. Have you actually experienced root rot here before?
We have not had root rot here. So part of that is, Texas root rot, I'm assuming, is what you're asking about. So we have not had it on either property, at least not to my knowledge. We haven't lost trees where that was obvious. So we haven't.
When does jacket weather start in Arizona?
Let's see. I think it starts in January and it ends in January.
I was going to say February, but yeah.
No. Technically, I guess it really kind of starts in December. So we're usually sweatshirts by November, jackets in December and January, into February.
Yeah.
Usually by the end of February, definitely by the beginning of March, those are back off again. So it's pretty short.
All right, Michelle, I'm not sure what that is. Sorry, 4 inches. Slam Boy, your intro reminds me of MASH. Final scene, goodbye.
I'm going to have to watch that again. I haven't seen that since I was a little kid. That theme song is what I remember going to bed with. I think that was my bedtime when I was a kid. My dad would watch that show all the time.
All right, what's jacket weather?
I know.
Down in Phoenix, no jacket weather.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Especially in the city.
When you wear a jacket at night.
Yeah, definitely at night.
All right, Jason, definitely look them up. He was talking about that.
For winemaking.
The wine thing. Mm-hmm.
Oh, very
good.
Have
a whole education outreach dedicated to Arizona growers.
Oh, very cool. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Verde Valley.
And
sweet.
These guys looks like they're talking to each other. Hopefully January.
Trying to get to your questions here, guys.
When is a great time to get cuttings from grapes to plant? Seems Home Depot gets them when it gets too hot.
Right. So usually you'll find the bare root at Home Depot usually in December. So they do a pretty good job with their bare root stuff. You typically find it in December, January, and it's because they're from the prior year. Or the prior season. So you can take hardwood cuttings, usually in the wintertime, and literally stick those right into a pot or directly into the ground and have pretty decent success.
All right, we have Mike. I heard that Tucson is not as hot as Phoenix because it's higher elevation.
Right. So, and I've seen that before. I haven't lived there, but I've seen that before. Always had jobs where I work with or travel to Tucson, and it always was a little cooler, maybe 4 or 5 degrees. In fact, out here in Whitman, we're about the same. So we're pretty close to that as well. But yeah, probably 4, 5, 6 degrees cooler than Phoenix on a typical summer day. So.
All right, Rob, how are the guard goats doing? They are so cute. Oh my goodness, I am in love with our goats.
Yeah, I think you can answer that better than me.
They're doing fantastic. And, Rosie was a little bit of a bully to Violet when we got her and to Lily when we got her. But they're all like best friends now.
Yeah. They're little peas in a pod.
Yeah.
So they like to headbutt each other and play and jump around in the mornings. And they were all in one. You went out when it was raining the other morning.
When it was raining, we had the 2 little houses out there for them. They were all in one house together. Mm-hmm. So I had to shove food in the house to feed them that morning because they wouldn't come out to eat. But they're so cute, and they like attention. So anytime we're outside, they're pretty much screaming for us. So you go over there thinking, "Oh, are you out of water?" And nope,
no, not at all.
All they want you to do is sit in there and pet them, and
that's it. They just want you to be there with them.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're cool.
They are pretty cool.
All right, I've heard that Moringa from seed does way better.
Yeah.
Thanks for the info.
Yeah,
That's what we're experiencing too.
We're experiencing the same. If I didn't have such a hard time ripping a tree out that I just planted, I'd probably pull all the potted ones up and just seed all those. But it'll be a good test to see how they do compared to the seeded ones.
All right, Carol, what do you do with the snakes? Kill them or relocate?
So, for the non-venomous snakes, we always leave them alone. So, in fact, we've helped them. Like, we had one that, what happened? She got stuck in
some netting, and I literally cut her out and everything.
Oh yeah, so we've rescued a couple of those. The rattlesnakes, no. So we don't have a good local resource, and we cannot have, because we have the public that comes onto the farm on a fairly regular basis, we can't have rattlesnakes on the farm. So, and we don't have somebody who can literally be here immediately, and I'm not comfortable handling them. I'm comfortable handling the non-venomous ones, but not the venomous snakes. And the reality is, I prefer not to. I'd rather relocate them out into the desert. The reality is, I need to learn how to handle those better, and I just haven't done it yet. Yeah. So,
all right, we have Pam. Hi guys.
Hey, how's it going, Pam?
Michelle, do you raise meat, chickens, turkeys to save money? Would you ever build a aquaponics system to raise tilapia?
Great question. So we raise both meat, chickens, and turkeys. We've got chickens coming at the end of the month. Turkeys are in the brooder, about to go out into their enclosure tomorrow, probably maybe this week. We do both of those. And then that's actually part of our business. So it's a combination of, yes, saving money, but also having them available, because meat is kind of our primary produce off the farm is meat, because I would say we're probably more paleo oriented when it comes to what we eat. So I'd prefer to have whole foods, fruits, veggies, and meat. That's typically what comprises the majority of our diet. And nice and heavy on the protein and fat side. I feel better eating that way. I've tried vegetarian and vegan, and I did not feel good at all. So we've decided if we're going to consume meat, we're going to know how they're treated, how they're raised, and go through the entire process. And so that's part of the reason why we do it. And we found folks that feel the same way as we do, just can't do it themselves, that appreciate how we raise the animals and the final product. So that's why we do that.
All right, we have a couple people talking to each other.
Okay.
So I'm just going to skip down. Carol, would you believe that it reached 40 degrees Celsius in Germany?
Oh my.
Oh, aren't you too old?
I can't. That's insane. So I know we had a couple people from Germany that have reached out to me and talked about the heat waves in Germany. And there was a couple days where our high temperature here was basically within a couple degrees of theirs.
Wow.
Just insane. Just insane.
That's crazy. All right. And Pam had the same thing with her figs and gave them extra water.
Yeah, that's the key.
All right. Make sure to hit the like button. Thank
Yes.
you, Pam. Carol, I'm waiting for the next video with you sitting on the
veranda when it's raining. I know we did. Well, so the challenge has been the timing on the rain. So it's been happening overnight, early in the morning before the sun comes up.
Yeah.
We did have one that was decent during the day. But we do need to. It's nice when that happens.
No. Well, it's nice that we can actually just sit outside and enjoy it.
That sitting outside doesn't happen very often for us these days.
Yeah. All right, less heat island, the higher elevation. So yes, Tucson is colder.
Yes.
Do you milk the goats?
Not yet. So they're still too young, but once we breed them, we will be doing that. And when I say we, I mean...
It means me. But I did get some, so our breeder that we got 2 of our goats from, that's a friend of ours. She has Desert Willow Farm, and I got some goat's milk from her because she had a lot of extra. So I've been making goat's milk ice cream.
Yes. And I've been happy about that.
He got so upset with me last night. He's like, "Oh, we don't have any ice cream."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, I made some. Don't worry."
Yep. Oh, that's really good. We talk about eating clean and eating mainly whole foods, and there we are eating ice cream. Hey, it's goat's milk ice cream, and it's only on the weekends.
Hey, I have a sweet tooth. I can't go away from that. All right, Mike. Thanks for answering. I'm trying to move to Arizona or southern Utah, but I know there's more jobs in Arizona.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And the industry that I work in, it's pipeline, industrial construction. Not a whole lot of home construction, but large electrical guys. And they're working on all the big job sites here in town, and they're massive, and multi-year jobs. So, and we've had record sales on top of record sales. So it's still insane. At some point, I'm confident it's going to slow down. I'll be curious to see what happens here in Arizona because of so much industrial construction. My guess is we'll see some blips in the home market, which probably needs to happen, but not the industrial side. So
Sorry.
that's okay. They can hear us.
If you were to do the farm again, where in Arizona would you choose and why? Granted, land prices and water is very important.
Right. So, but that's, I honestly don't know that we would do anything too different, to be honest with you, because with the aquifer here in Whitman, Wickenburg, Morristown, this whole area, it's fed from the mountains just north of us. It's very stable. There's restrictions on it so that you can't do crazy mass agriculture like they're doing in some parts of the state where they're just literally pumping thousands of gallons a minute out of aquifers and shipping things overseas like alfalfa and straw. You can't do that here. So, that happens in Arizona still. So I don't know that I would do, honestly, I don't know that I would go anywhere else. I know we looked down in Tucson because it is a little cooler. We looked, I think, east of Tucson, Wilcox, some of those areas down there. One thing we would not do is head north because you can't handle the cold. It's just not your thing. So that's part of the reason why we've stayed in the valley, and then of course work and customers. So I mean,
well, the main reason is our son is here. I'm not going to move out of the area and not see my son.
I get to see him every day.
Yeah.
So it is kind of nice. Not gonna lie. But I don't know that we would go anywhere else in Arizona. Prescott's nice. So I think Prescott would be about as far north as I'd want to go.
Yeah.
And cooler weather there, and cherries. We'd be able to grow cherries.
Okay, what's the best way of conserving grapes on the vine in extreme heat? Should you cut out and reduce, say, the upper branches?
Bunches.
Bunches.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, we haven't had an issue with, generally speaking, we don't have issues with mature grapevines when it comes to keeping the grapes on the vines. One thing that we do once they start to ripen in June is we double down on the water. So we actually water our grapevines twice a week during the growing season, which is most of the summer, versus once a week or less during the off season, and we have not had any issues with that. So again, the exception is younger vines. So we did have a little bit of that with the Cabernets in the beginning, but those vines are less than 2 years old. So, they're just not mature enough for the fruit set. So to answer your question better, if water was not the issue, yes, you would start thinning out some of the clusters, or you would thin the clusters. So you'd clip the bottom of the cluster to reduce the amount of grapes on the vine. So yes, you could do that as well.
What is the plan with the goats?
The plan with the goats is a couple things. So we milk, obviously. They're also registered mini Nubian goats. So they sell at a premium. So we will be selling kiddos so to other folks that are wanting to do the same. And then we'll be breeding them also for ourselves, because as we move on to the back of the property, we have some permaculture projects we want to work on and attempt back there when it comes to some desert pasture, which more on that to come. So they're an integral part of that. So that's really kind of the main reasons for the goats.
How can you tell what snake is venomous besides the obvious rattlesnake?
Right. So the head shape for us, I can usually tell by the head shape, especially for our rattlesnakes. They're diamond shaped. So the head shape itself is different. Also, the eyes are different. I don't know how else to describe it other than the slits they're kind of slit, the eyes themselves, if you can see them. So those are the two ways that I'm able to tell. And then obviously the rattle is the obvious thing. So
yeah. All right, we have Patty. Hello, you two. Our one plum tree has borer worm in it.
Oh.
What would you suggest to get rid of them?
Right. So Patty, obviously, whenever you have any type of infestation in a tree, part of the issue is the health of the tree. So you didn't say how the tree is doing otherwise prior to the infestation. One of the things that we found here is the 3-in-1 Plant Guard from Ivy Organics has done a very good job as far as keeping woodpeckers. We don't necessarily have a problem with boring insects, but woodpeckers, rabbits, ground squirrels, keeps them from munching on that because it doesn't taste good. So it's got some diatomaceous earth in it. So that's a great option. If you use them, make sure you use our discount code. It's EON Farm. you get 10% off. But Ivy Organics would be a good one because we just found that it works. I would try that. There's other sprays you can apply, by the way. I shouldn't forget. There's other sprays that you can apply during the wintertime that helps with certain infestations similar to that, although I don't know if it's exactly the same. So applying a neem oil spray during the wintertime may be a good option for you as well, assuming the tree survives into the dormancy season. What's
all
that?
right. Have you heard the idea that there is unlimited primary water under all of the earth, including the continents, which they say in Libya?
I don't know.
I mean, to make.
I don't know.
And they kill him for that and some other reasons is the theory.
I really don't know. I have not heard that. So, I mean, I know our aquifer's good here, but it's 600 feet compared to the earth. That's not very deep. I don't know. Don't know anything about that.
Sam, there are water restrictions happening in Vegas. Are you concerned this will happen for us in Arizona?
I do have some concern with that. Excuse me. One of the reasons that we moved out of the city, there were multiple reasons for moving out of the city, but one of the reasons that we moved out is I'm concerned that we're heading towards an unsustainable place in Arizona, and I don't know that I'm right. So I'm making assumptions, I think, like everybody else, because a lot of our water does come from Arizona. So SRP and that whole side of town, those come from the mountains here. And then obviously we do take Colorado River water through most of Arizona, and that's a problem for everyone. And as the population increases, there's more pressure on that. Do I think we'll see them? I think so. I think they're coming. And we still have our son lives in town. I work in town. All of our customers and friends are in town. So I'm pretty confident we'll probably see them unless something drastic happens.
Yeah.
So just my opinion, but we'll see.
All right, Daryl, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you two?
Sure. I don't mind you asking. I'm 49. I'll be 50 in January. And you are 32.
Oh, I like that. I am 46.
Yeah. Oh, and a beautiful 46. Okay. Vlog is over.
All right, Rob, they're younger than me. How's goat's milk ice cream taste?
Oh my goodness. So I have a hard time. I'm going to answer this question because I can taste the goatiness. Goatiness? I don't know what that word would be. I can tell. I drink milk, but I'm lactose intolerant. I do like milk, and I can taste kind of the gaminess of the goat milk. But the ice cream, I don't get it in the ice cream, especially when it's chocolate.
If it depends on how it's flavored. Yeah, the vanilla he did a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't.
And then we mixed it with
chocolate.
It's mainly the recipe you have is mainly goat's milk, but there's a little bit of cream in there, right?
Yeah, half the cream. So it was supposed to be 3 cups of goat's milk, a cup of cream, but I did 3.5 cups of goat's milk and only a half a cup of cream. Right. So it kind of ends up being a little icier than creamier, but
right.
It's really good.
It actually is very good. So, but yeah, the key is obviously getting good goat's milk, and then flavoring it. That works for me, and I can eat it more than I can't eat regular ice cream without getting a tummy ache. No. So, yeah.
When do you recommend planting cover crops? I was thinking of planting them this month.
Yeah, actually, you know what? We just planted cowpeas into the beds after we pulled some stuff out of there. So you still can plant cowpeas. They do great still. Sweet potatoes, just remember, we learned this the hard way. You will never get rid of those. They've come back with a vengeance here. But we were planting sweet potato slips, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So you can still do sweet potatoes as well. So those are both. Sunflowers, you can still do sunflowers, although that's not a cover. Most of your cover crops, that time frame's coming up. So we'll be planting fall cover crops start in September, October, your radishes and things like that, if you want them to go over the winter. So.
All right. And let's see, we have Aaron. Hi, neighbors.
Hey, how's it going? Well, how's it going? Wait. Oh, Aaron.
Aaron.
What's up, Aaron?
Then we have Taylor. Is it difficult to kill the animals after you get to know them? Do you name them? We used to raise our own cattle, and my dad would get mad if we named them. Yeah,
so we don't name the animals that we raise for processing, for butchering. The the chickens and the turkeys, that's a lot of them. So I mean, our chickens, we got 150 chickens we bring in twice a year. And they're only there for 8 weeks. Turkeys are a little bit longer. First time we've raised turkeys, but we've got 44 of those. So, we don't know that we would get to the point where we would. And with the pigs, we do make a point of not naming them, not giving them common names, although we still name them. So, we'll name them like Gray Girl,
we started naming them
bacon, pork chop, sausage,
andouille, stuff like that. But now it's just more nicknames that we end up coming up with.
Yeah, and the pigs you do get closer to.
Yeah.
But, a pig, when it's 350 pounds trying to destroy everything, it's like time to go home at that point. Yeah.
Well, and I think it just gets to the point where as you raise animals, you would rather raise it yourself, know where it came from, how it was, raised, what it ate, versus buying it from the store. So I'm going to eat meat either way, and so I would rather know all those things. So I have that in my mind now.
Right.
Now my goats.
No. But to that point, I think one of the reasons why we do our chicken processing workshop in the fall is for folks to get an idea of what that's like. During that workshop, it's somber. I mean, it's not something we look forward to. In fact, it's the opposite. We don't look forward to it. We don't enjoy it. It's part of the cycle of life. There's always death in order for there to be life. That includes plants, by the way. So, if you're consuming plants, with the exception of fruit trees, those plants are dying at some point in time, and something died in order for them to be able to grow. So just realize that. So it is part of life. And I think the big disconnect that we have as a society is not being close enough to our food. That includes the animals we consume. And I can tell you, it's a wise question. It shows wisdom in your question because it is not an easy thing to do. And if it's easy, I think something's wrong. And I think that too many of us don't have that experience, and we do not appreciate the sacrifice that's given for us in order to live. So sorry to be so somber here, guys, but it's the reality for us. And so I think it's important that everyone does it at least one time.
And I think Carol is talking to someone on there. So would you ever do aquaponics for fresh fish?
No, probably not. I love fish. Lori's not a big fan, so I don't think we would. It takes a lot of upfront work, and no matter what you do with aquaponics, you may have some chemicals you're going to have to put into the water just for the health of the fish. And then obviously with hydro, it's pretty much all that. So we don't have any plans to do it. So.
All right. Have you looked at Santan Valley or Santan area?
No, have not.
All right. My brother's moving up to Payson. That's the only reason why I stay. My boys, I would miss them so much.
Yeah, same here.
My pomegranates are just now blooming. This tree always seems behind everyone else's. Why do you think that might be happening?
That's hard to say because for the most part, they've all finished bloom and fruit set at this point. Now we do get a fall flowering and fruit set on a lot of our pomegranate trees, but I'm not too sure. That is a little odd because those are flowering in the spring. I'm not sure.
And Rob on here says that his is blooming now too.
Yeah, we do get blooms now. That's not uncommon. So you get your fall flush. We've had this wonderful weather. They're happy campers. So to see flowers is not surprising now, but to not see them earlier in the year, that's unusual.
Yeah,
at least on
see them both.
Yeah, at least on a mature tree. It's been in there for at least a year.
Okay. All right. Did you mention it? But why did you choose Nubian and not the others? Dwarf. What's their name?
Right, so you have your Nigerian dwarf. So that mini Nubian is a combination of a Nubian and a dwarf Nigerian. So that combination, as far as we've been told, is a good combination of heavy cream and milk production in a small goat. And they're fairly uncommon. They're not as common as a full-size Nubian or your Nigerian dwarfs. So we just thought they were kind of a cool little cross, and so we decided to go with those.
Yeah. All right, that's the pomegranates. What can I do to encourage my grapevines to flower and set fruit? This is the second year I've had no blooms. I'm in zone 9 to 10 Arizona. Okay,
so you're in the zoning is fine. So now as far as the grapevine, so if it's not setting grapes, chances are good it's struggling somewhere else, because we've had multiple varieties of grapes and have not had an issue by the second year. So once you roll into that second year, but you should be seeing very, very strong, hard vine growth in that first season. So there's probably, if you're not seeing that, there's either something in the soil, something with the planting, or the way you're irrigating. You know, obviously you guys have seen how we do it here. We do use a drip irrigation on these. We do fertilize 3 times a year with the rest of the trees, but we use a higher nitrogen fertilizer. So we use chicken manure for that. And so that combination and watering away from the vine, those drive the growth of your grapevines, and that's what allows them to produce fruit and hold on to that fruit. So you didn't mention what varieties. So let me know what varieties.
All right, I'm very interested in growing more foods for my chickens, especially now that feed costs are going up. What are your favorite things to grow to feed them?
So grass, alfalfa. So
yeah, we have alfalfa. I think we had some barley, just different mixes of the pasture greens.
Yep, so different mixtures of pasture greens. That encourages bugs. Between the greens and the bugs in the pasture, that offsets our feed costs probably a good 20 to 30%. And especially during the spring, fall, and through winter, although we're still seeing meat and bugs now. And the other thing is sunflowers. So we do black oil sunflowers. They also will eat beans. So cowpeas, we let them into the cowpea patch afterwards. They consume all those beans when they go into there. So those all do well, and they grow well here for us.
All right, Rob, OMG, you two are silly, and I love it. Don't change. All right, Pam made a suggestion for Hobby Lobby.
Nice.
And then she put sweet potatoes in grow bags and boxes this year. Too many came back.
Yes, they do. It's insane.
There's so much wasted water, especially in the cities. I know it is recycled, but I've started to throw clean gray water into a small bucket and tossing it out on the plants.
Yep, I agree. So anytime we can take water that we're using for washing anything, it winds up on plants here as well.
Yeah.
I agree.
What do you do with all the chicken eggs?
So we actually sell the chicken eggs. So what we don't consume generally gets sold. Every once in a while, depending on seasons, we got our farm shares now, they get eggs. So, and then depending on seasons, we fed them to the pigs before. Occasionally we'll feed them back to the chickens. So we'll just scramble them and feed them back to the chickens. The chickens will eat those, and nice, obviously a good protein source for them. But that doesn't happen very often. We've got enough customers that buy eggs from us, and we limit the number of chickens that we keep so that we kind of keep a pretty good balance there.
All right, Daryl, thanks for another great show.
Yes.
Have a great weekend.
Good to see you, Daryl.
Carol,
Stay dry.
By gray, I mean water for cleaning vegetables and potato peelings and boiled eggs.
Bingo. Yep, same here.
Michelle, where do you buy your meat birds and turkeys? Tractor wants $13 for one turkey chick. I am raising quail for meat, but I would like to try the meat chickens.
Right. So meat chickens we typically get from Ideal Poultry. That's our go-to source for those. I think this batch we had to get them from, is it Metzer Farms in California? Because Ideal was sold out.
Yeah, one of those.
So yeah, Ideal is your best bet. We prefer to get them from Ideal. They do great. They get here in a day. So they're fantastic. Yeah. And then turkeys, we got those from Cackle Hatchery. But you have to order those early. So
yeah, but turkeys are expensive.
They're
usually around $12 for a chick.
Right.
So
yeah.
The $13 at Tractor Supply.
That's not far off.
No. Now the meat birds or the Cornish cross, the broilers are different, but the turkeys are pricey.
Yeah.
You guys are the bomb. Never miss you.
Thanks, Chris. That was nice.
All right. Wow, this chat went by way too fast.
I know, right? I know. It's all right. And we didn't even get to the right over here.
We have a guava, so if anybody wants to hang out. Did you know that the most recent studies show that plants have feelings?
I've heard folks say that. I don't know. I don't know that. I haven't seen that study. I've had folks mention that same thing. So I mean, in the end, everything is alive at some point in time and then dies. That's everything on the planet. So
yeah. All right. I was out in your neck of the woods and seen a Fertizona factory. It says open to the public. Have you been there? I may check it out if the prices are cheaper next time I'm out there.
Yep. So especially for conventional fertilizer, if you're going to use that, it's a good spot. And they do sell seeds. So we got our alfalfa seed from there and some barley from there.
Yeah. Darlene, Lori, how is your loofah doing? They are doing fantastic.
They're growing like crazy again too.
Yeah, Yeah, they did over this last week. They started going crazy again. We harvest several loofahs that we got already this year from those. Yep. By the way, my blackberry you suggested I get is doing wonderfully.
Oh, very good.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Awesome. Glad to hear that, Pam.
Yep. There are some, I forgot the name of the person, people who are brought in to bleed in the sheep.
Yeah.
And there's a little company in Praise of Thanks.
Ceremony and prayers of thanks. Yep. Yeah. I think it's one of those situations, again, Carol, like you're saying, is, showing respect to the animal that's giving its life for you. It's the very least we can do. The very least we can do. Mm-hmm. And it's not done in industrial meat production because it can't be. So, it's different when you're on the farm. Yeah. It's just different. So.
All right. We have Rob. Thanks for the vlog. My first live show.
Yes.
I enjoyed it.
Yes. So real quick, because we're gonna have to run because we got to get to dinner. But somebody asked a question about guavas,
I think
right?
it was Sam. If you're still here, Sam.
I don't know if you're still here, Sam, but
we didn't forget.
There we go. Yeah. So those would be our first 2 white Peruvian guavas. Look at that. So the tree was loaded with, actually still has a lot of fruit in there. So in fact, we had somebody else ask a question about harvesting and tasting. So we'll have to do that on these white guavas. And they ripened up this week. Got a little handful of them, and they
smell.
They smell weird.
They do.
So I remember I've had guava like drinks, like nectars and stuff like that when I was a kid. They were pink guavas though, not this. And it's a strange smell.
It is really strange.
All right, so if you guys like guavas, I'm going to apologize in advance because this does smell kind of odd. It's a little different. But as far as size, so what is that? That's probably a little bigger than a golf ball, right? Somewhere between a baseball and a golf ball as far as the size is concerned.
Yeah.
Should have brought a quarter. Make sure I pull that up. So now as far as the color, there's a little bit of a green tinge and it's mainly white. When I went and grabbed this, it fell off into my hand. So it might be a little bit overripe. I'm not exactly sure with these because, again, never had one.
Carol said cut them open.
Okay. Talking. So in other words, shut up, Dwayne.
And I have a couple that we have to go back to.
Okay. All right. So
do this first.
I'm going to try not to cut my hand. All right. So there we go. Got to make sure I get on camera here for you guys. So that would be the inside. Oh, the lights are in the wrong spot. Hopefully you guys will get a good shot of that because they're nice and juicy. So, ooh, that is still an odd smell. All right, so there's a
really weird smell.
There's our white guava. Got a cool little ring of seeds. My understanding is the seeds are kind of hard.
Are they?
Yeah,
okay.
And there's like some pulp in the middle, but it's super juicy. I've got a bowl. How about you?
Nope.
Not so much. Let's try one of these. You eat the skin and everything.
Okay. Okay, what's our next question?
I gotta give this another shot.
Is it okay to water plants and citrus with water from the washing machine?
Oh. I don't know about this one, you guys.
I may freeze them and do them in smoothies.
I think so.
Maybe that'll be better.
I think so. Sorry, guys. That didn't go as planned.
That was horrible.
Oops.
If anybody likes white guavas, I'm sorry.
We're going to cut that out of the final version. Oh, wait, this is live. Okay, yeah, those are going to definitely be smoothie fruits. I hope the pink ones are better.
Oh my goodness, that's horrible.
I think that tasted like flowers and feet.
Okay, you got a couple more questions here. Is it okay to water plants and citrus with water from the washing machine?
So, I don't know that I would water. Okay, I gotta compose myself to answer this question. So I don't know that I would use washing machine water on your annual veggies. Don't think I would do that. I think that I know Jeff Lawton puts the gray water through a reed bed to help kind of funnel some of the nasty out of there and let that settle. So that might be a better option. We haven't done that before. We're not able to use that water legally here in Maricopa County. So we haven't tried. But even if it's organic, all the chemicals you're using are organic, still concentrated. So I'd be cautious. I think you'd have to do something to filter it before you apply it to annuals. And I would do it sparingly on your perennial trees is probably the direction I would head.
All right, what do you do with the loofahs? Sell them? We haven't so far, so we only got a handful this season. But my goal is hopefully to use them to make soap, so have them inside the soap is my goal.
Yeah.
And then if I sell those, I don't know.
Yeah, I plan to leave that up to you. I didn't even know what they were until I busted one open.
All right, Flame, Thompson, Concord, and Manuka, they did set fruit the second year they were planted, so they were proven. They were pruned after the third year. They do get chicken compost. Thanks.
You're doing everything that we do here. So I'm really not sure because assuming you're getting some chill hours in the wintertime, which they do need, you should see a fruit set. I'm not sure. If you're pruning back 95%, which is a suggestion, doing the water and the mulch to keep consistent soil moisture, and you're seeing growth otherwise, I'm not sure. Flame and Thompson and Manuka, Flame and Thompson in particular should definitely be fruiting for you, especially after a couple years in the ground. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Yeah. All right. So
I think we're good. I think we're winding down.
Yeah, your faces are hilarious. Carol White, pectin,
Yeah.
jam.
Yeah.
Conserves, okay. And then watching the two of you at the same time was too funny. Oh no, I was hoping those would taste so good for you guys. I was so hopeful on that.
It looked fantastic until I ate it.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Hilarious, your faces.
Yeah. I know people like guavas, and I'm sure they're good in smoothies. And man, they were good when we were in Hawaii with pineapple. Maybe that's the problem. We need pineapple.
Well, it was in juice.
That's true.
Guava is only for jams and jelly.
I think so. I think that's true.
Yeah, good idea with the soaps. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, getting a bigger harvest. My guava looks like yours, however, mine are pinkish and are sort of sweet, and yes, they stink.
They do? Oh my
horrible.
goodness.
All right, chill hours may be why very mild winters.
There you go. That could be it.
Thank you. You guys are adorable. I have huge guavas in our yard. We call them guapo. They taste better when they are still kind of crunchy.
Yeah, these are
ripe.
soft.
These
are
are
like
soft.
overripe probably.
But the texture, it seems like it would be like perfect.
The texture tasted like a pear. Almost like a really ripe pear. I was thinking pear, and maybe that was the problem because it did not taste like a pear.
All right, Pam said that her strawberry guava is delicious by itself. We have one of those too, so we'll keep that in mind.
And I'm hoping the pink guava. We still got the pink guava that's not ripe yet, so I'm hopeful for that.
Good eat your dinner. Have an awesome month.
Yes.
I haven't planted a guava yet as I'm looking for a mild one.
Yeah, and I'm hopeful.
Don't do the white one.
Yeah, the white one's not mild.
Do you grow white or red, white, or russet potatoes?
No, haven't actually grown regular potatoes yet. I think we need to give that a shot.
Just sweet potatoes. I have some red potatoes in there that are starting to sprout.
And they go in the ground for fall.
All right.
No, spring. I think those are spring. We'll look at the planting chart.
Okay.
All right, I think we're going way late. It's like 4:13, and I think we're about done. All right, guys, so just want to thank you. Had a couple little hiccups there. Maybe that's just me at this point because of the guava. But we said it in the beginning. We do put, this is the Desert Farmer Podcast. We're obviously here on YouTube here today. Really enjoyed having you guys here. We will put a condensed version of this onto the website that nixes a lot of the guava will probably still be on there. But we just want to thank you guys for joining us here today. You know, one of the things I really like to say to you guys, because it is true, we do not take the time that you guys give us for granted. And, you know, we don't say it often enough in the videos, but, you know, a lot of you guys, we recognize all of you here because you guys are here. You support us through the kind words and encouragement that you give us on every video that we post and here on the live streams as well. It's one of the reasons why we're dedicated to doing and spending this time with you guys, because you guys do the same for us and we don't take it for granted. It is the most valuable thing that we have here on the planet, and you guys share that with us, and just want to thank you. So I think that's it.
Yep, we had Raina say her lemon and strawberry guavas are tasty. And then Pam said to throw the potatoes in the ground and let them go.
That works. Let's do it.
Everybody else is just thank you, see you next time.
Yes.
All that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys being here, and we will see you next month. We're gonna have some guavas for dinner.
No.
Ain't gonna happen.
Bye.
Bye, guys.